Hello, everyone. This is Dave Warner with Small Town Life, and I have a great guest with me here today. She's not from Little Falls, but she loves Little Falls, and so I don't know, somehow has gotten hooked on the city. Her name is Lynn Hayes, and she's here to an idea that she has that you've been working on, what, a year now, right, Lynn?
Probably all in a year and a half.
Year and a half.
It seems like it's been forever, and yet it seems like it's a blink of an eye. Depends on what day it is.
Yeah, I know. All right. So tell me a little bit about who you are and where you're from.
Okay.
And how the heck you ever got interested in Little Falls. Yeah.
Well, this really emerged through COVID, like a lot of things. We were all in quarantine. There was not much to do. I mean, I live in Basalt, Colorado. So we have the outdoors. We have it right in our beck and call. So I did a lot of outdoor activities, and I was dialed in like most people were to your former governor's daily briefings. And one of the references that he said many times was get out and walk. And he mentioned, or the website mentioned, the Empire State Trail. Yeah, and that's really how it started.
Yeah, but I mean, you knew about Little Falls before that, right? Didn't you volunteer for the Cheese Festival?
I did, but this was before the Cheese Festival.
Oh, okay.
This precipitated everything.
Ah, okay, got it.
So in fact, I had not been north of Staten Island. So
you're well north now, let me tell you.
This was a whole new world order, and I was anxious to go. So I got my shots. I was a little nervous about getting on a plane, but I don't care. I decided it's going to be well worth it, and came to Albany, and I met some people there, and then I put together this itinerary based upon this book that I got from the state, the cycling the Erie Canal. That was my roadmap. I could not have put this trip together without this. This is amazing.
Were you already into cycling in Colorado or what?
Just into hiking and walking.
Okay.
I found out that this is primarily a biking trail, but I thought, well, maybe we can tweak that idea a little bit and get more people involved who are not cyclists.
Right.
So that's where my brain went.
Okay.
With that. And I also was on the Camino de Santiago. So that was...
well, what is that? For those who don't know.
Well, this is a very good question, because most people in New York do not know.
I did not know
the Camino de Santiago.
Yeah, you told me last year about this. So
it is a pretty special place. It's a contiguous trail that starts in southern France, and it goes all the way across northern Spain, ends up in Santiago, which is, I don't know if people are familiar with the movie The Way with Martin Sheen and Emilio Estevez, but that movie docudrama is based upon his experiences, Martin Sheen's especially, how he changed from this guy who just had rushed in life, and he was a dentist and he was so busy, and he became a pilgrim basically. And he went all the way to the end of the way, which is in Murcia, which is the coast. And anyways, it's a great movie. I highly recommend it. So people understand that idea of and you have a passport there, and you just go from town to town. I was with a group from Colorado. You get your stamps in this book.
And you've kind of
I
created your own. Yeah.
I totally admit I took it, and
I
stole this. Yeah. It was like a no-brainer for me. From my
but it's personalized for us for here.
Absolutely. Yeah. It is your colors, since it's your trail. These are the colors of the Empire State Trail. And I had to create a symbol. The symbol for the Camino is many things, but it's this shell. It's this shell with a St. James cross on it. St. James was the first pilgrim that did this. It's a long story, and I'm going to, for brevity, I'm just saying, if you really are interested in it, it's on any website. Google it, the Camino de Santiago, and I'll tell you all about how it was created.
Okay, so is that the one that you actually got for walking the trail?
Yes. Well, you can buy these. This is why this is so appropriate for here, is that This is a merchandising opportunity, one of many. You buy these along the way. So you want to wear this, which people use this as a badge of honor. They put them on their backpacks or their bikes or wherever, and
Uh,
you know that these people on the trail are there for the pilgrimage.
okay.
So the same thing would apply this to the Erie Canalway. You get your shell with, hopefully, if I think everybody likes my symbol. It's of the Statue of Liberty with your state tree is a sugar maple. So I put that in there, and she's standing on a trail. So she's kind of emerging from the ground. And I put that together. And then my graphic artist friend did this for me and a certificate. And this is kind of what you would get once you completed various sections of it. And so this is, I just did this as a prototype, and I put in bronze, silver, and gold. And what that means is if you do various sections of the trail, as you can see here in the map, the Empire State Trail pretty much covers the entire state. And your geography is very conducive to separating it into 3 sections. So you have this Erie Canalway, of course, which is where I started because there was absolutely no way you can plan a trip like this without a guide. And I actually only went from Rochester to Albany last year. And I got many businesses, which are in my, what is that called? It's a concept proposal.
your little
yeah, the little
folder
thing over there,
Yeah,
like
that
my
little thing.
15-page little thing.
Yeah.
And got about, 30 businesses. Everyone that I stopped into says, we want this, got to have it. How do we do this? And I went,
Well,
okay.
explain how it works. I mean, what's the, because it works in Europe on the trail there, the pilgrimage.
Yes.
And so you're on that. What do you do?
Well, that's a very good question. What you do is, and that's what I'm talking to, I've met with about 5 different chambers along from, let's see, this I started in Pittsford and then ending up in Little Falls. So I just picked a specific segment and spent a lot of time visiting with the chambers because I do believe that the chambers, being the main central point for the businesses, can get the word out to the businesses and
Right.
incorporate this concept into their marketing efforts. I'm getting a lot of interesting feedback on this idea, believe
But still, you haven't explained what. Take
It
me
is.
through. I'm a guy. You
Okay.
give me this thing, and then I do what with it?
Okay. You would get this if you are going on the Empire State Trail for any reason whatsoever. You're walking, kayaking, camping. You just want to visit the towns. You want to, and you hear about this.
Right.
You pick up a passport, and that's what I'm working with the chambers, hopefully through the chambers. Since we don't have a website yet, we're working on that. But you pick up your passport, and then you just start going from every business you go to, whether it's a bar, a restaurant, a hotel, wherever you stay. The members of this program would have a decal on their business, which is basically, I'm hoping, going to be the symbol. And that's all you have to say. People will recognize this with a much thanks to you and
and others
and
not just
others
me.
and
Yeah.
others to get this promoted would they just know that this is it.
So it's like visiting a bunch of different countries. You get a stamp showing that you've actually entered that country. Well, here you're entering businesses.
That is correct.
Those businesses are stamping your passport. And as you go to all these different places along the trail, that gets them business and gets people kind of excited about.
You got it.
You know, it's like the.
Well, you get the concept pretty quickly.
No, I got it right away when you talked to me about it. But it's like the guys climbing all the mountains in the Adirondacks. It's the same kind of. I have that intensity to climb all of these peaks and get the final one signed off. And,
it's an achievement, and that's what we're calling this. This is a certificate of achievement. In Spain, they make more of a religious statement out of it. So we're taking all of that out. This is strictly a personal experience, your emotional state at the moment. A lot of people take pilgrimages because they're going through a tough time, or they want to get away, or they have all kinds of reasons in the world. Same thing with bikers, hikers, kayakers. Some people like group activities, which is great to do this with family and friends. Some people just want a singular experience. They want to get away from get away from the kids, get away from life. And they just want to get on a bike, or they just want to take off and really have a pilgrimage on their own.
Well, we can make it a pilgrimage to Reimagine the Canal folks.
That is correct.
You know, and
that is, you're on it. You're hired.
Get their
You're
stamp
hired.
of approval. Yeah.
But that's what this is about, is to make sure that each person, call them a pilgrim or whatever you want to call the person that's participating in this program, they bring their passports, make sure they get their stamps and dated, and all you need to do is fill up. It's same as Monumental, but you'll be surprised how many people do this. But
so it's both sides of that, correct?
It's both sides.
Do you think with all the interests that you have, and as you add communities, that's going to be enough? Seems like you're going to need a bigger boat.
And that's this is a pilot program.
Right.
So we could, every year, I think to keep it consistent, that what the Camino people have done is they make a different, they used to have just one passport.
Mm-hmm.
And now over time, they created many different kinds of passports. And I think that confuses people. I think the best thing to do is make it unique, make it consistent, and make it something that's available. You fill up 1, you fill up 2, you fill up 3. You can fill up as many as you want, but all you have to do to get a certificate is 1. And for most people, that may take them a while. So they come to New York for the weekend and they want to come back next week. And these are for locals, and people, tourists, they go, wow, this has been great. I started on something. Maybe I want to come back.
Right.
Like I did. I went back to Spain 2 more times.
I don't know. I'd put I think American passport is now 10 years.
Yeah.
You
put an expiration date?
Yeah, why not? Well, no, I think so, because
you're right.
It creates a sense of urgency.
You're right.
As opposed to you start something and you're like, yeah, I got the rest of my life to do this. 10 years is a long time.
Well,
so it's
for some people that might, I'm going to take that under advisement because I have to think about it. I never do anything really spontaneous anymore. I've got myself into big trouble.
You're here.
I've got into big trouble that way.
You're in trouble with this.
That's so true. But what I think that the potential is, I'm gathering input and data. So that I'm hoping that, all my contacts so far says I said, I really want to launch this thing with your participation next summer. Is that being too optimistic? And most people think no, especially here in Little Falls.
Right.
I've had a very great conversation just now with Katie Drake and Tony DeLuca, and they are all so on board that this is, I'm thinking that Little Falls is definitely there as a flagship.
I think it's a good kickoff point. I mean, because you're here and you're part of the community and you're volunteering for Cheese Again this year, right?
I am.
You are.
I will be back.
Yep. So I think that it would be kind of cool to get a ton of businesses here involved in that and stamping the passport.
Yep.
And just even from a standpoint of Little Falls itself would be neat, but then getting out to these other communities would be really cool. So, yeah.
Well, and that's kind of the idea that I'm thinking, is that as I was going through the towns, everybody has some summer festival or fall or, rites of passage, whatever you want to call them, festivals all year round. And there's some winter things that are going on, which were really appealing to me as well, because you've got this trail that, it's there in the wintertime. Yeah, I live in the mountains. I understand the challenges of that. But, I put on snowshoes or stabilizers or whatever, as long as it's not like 20 degrees or lower. I have a parameter of tolerance for cold, being from California originally. So it's like, okay, if it's under 20, forget about it. But
well, you're gonna get a few days like that.
Yeah, I know. So, I don't know if I'm going to make it here for your winter fest. I really don't know.
We don't have that yet, but we'll work on it for you.
You are.
Maybe
I know.
some ice sculpture or something. Yeah.
Oh, really? Can I make one of
No,
these. How about,
let's not do that. Let's not on the fly. You said you're not
you're right.
spontaneous.
I'll
So
try to not,
yeah.
I'll harness that in a little bit. So,
All right. Well, I want to go to a quick commercial break and then we'll come right back and keep talking about it.
okay.
All right, here we
Thanks.
go.
Visit My Little Falls and stay connected with the latest news, information, and events in the city and the area. Our mission is to generate interest in the community and connect residents in a more meaningful way by facilitating deeper conversations about how these stories will shape the future of the Mohawk Valley. Join thousands of weekly visitors who stay up to date with feature stories, interviews, videos, our event calendar, and print publication, the Mohawk Valley Express. It's about timely local news for the community, keeping citizens informed about important issues, telling about the people who live and work here, and giving locally owned businesses the opportunity to reach a very targeted audience of locals and tourists alike. It's a whole new form of media-rich content developed specifically for today's mobile lifestyle and listeners. You can download our iOS app in the iTunes Store, listen to our country music streaming radio station, or sign up for a weekly newsletter. Stop by today at mylittlefalls.com. You'll be glad you did.
Okay, and we're back with Lynn Hayes, who has a great idea about we're all going to need a passport to go from town to town. No, just kidding.
Well, at least
about a passport.
We won't have any immigration issues, I promise.
We won't. But anyway, something about going along the Empire State Trail and involving businesses and people who use the trail, which I don't think a lot of people know how many people are actually using that trail. But one of the things for our downtown revitalization initiative was we did some kind of got some data about the number of people who use that trail. And evidently they have a counter in German Flats. And well before COVID, they said it was about 40,000 people a year that were using it. However, during COVID, people wanted to get out onto the trails, and they said it was probably approaching 70,000. So I don't know. We don't have a counter in Little Falls, but that's a lot of people every year on the trail. And you have these groups that come through, 600 bikers, not bikers, but bicyclists coming up on the trail. And this is a great idea to get them involved in just going to the local businesses and shopping or dining or getting a drink at a microbrewery like here at Rock Valley. And, it'd be cool, I think.
Yeah. I think you're spot on this, because that's the whole idea. It's, for me, it's that I think the economic opportunities here are endless. Merchandising, a lot of it would be just part of it, but actually having people walk into your business and enjoying it and having a cup of coffee or just going out to dinner or staying here, it just will just add to the pot of people that want to come here. And once it does, then it takes off.
Yeah.
It just flies on its own.
Yeah. So
it's just a miracle. It just flies on its own.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a good idea. I have heard of it being done down in Brooklyn, but for that area down there, and it was very successful. I mean, off the scale successful. So I think we're going to see that kind of a success up here. What is the kind of timeline that you're looking at? I know you mentioned, next summer kind of thing, but what are the steps that you have to take before that? What are the things people could do to help you? That kind of a walk me through from now to the future when this starts.
Well, that's the devil in the details, isn't it?
Always, isn't it?
Yes. I think it's going to be a matter of finding a partnership for me, and Little Falls, I think is the best option for me.
Right. So you're looking we're the kickoff city.
Yes. And that would be here, because the interest here has been the welcoming I've gotten and the reception I have gotten here is overwhelming. It's really good. And I think we can get this started. Again, it's not going to happen overnight. Everybody's on the same page with that we're going to start talking serious stuff and about all the details that you're talking about, like website, inventory of resources for the businesses. What do I need to do to start? All of the nuts and bolts. have to be communicated to the businesses first, and then signing people up and all of that. That's a lot to do.
Well, it
And-
seems like a lot of it you could do on the website,
Mhm.
and even down to the level of, I don't know how you're going to have people say, "Hey, I quote filled it up." Is that what you're looking for, or they have to hit every business, or how do you think that's going to work?
Well, that's what
Still working on
that's
it?
what the pilot program is for. It's
Okay.
to find out, to get at all the kinks.
Yeah.
So the message would be, do you want to sign up for a pilot program? I think that really has to be part and parcel of the success of this. And once we create the marketing materials and we get everything started, then we will start to talk about how do we do this specifically. So there's a lot of issues that if I lived here, I could oversee and help with.
Right.
But since geography is not my friend in this about 2,000 miles worth, I really want to partner up with people here, so that, I love this place, but I don't know the ins and
Yeah.
outs of local issues.
Have
like
you
all
have you
do.
talked to the Herkimer? You got them
That
on board,
was
or-
that is she's on. Kitty said I should talk to you about that and get her information.
Yeah.
and
Michelle
stuff.
Hummel
Yeah.
is. I think she'd be really interested in this concept. She's always into anything that draws people to
Mhm.
Herkimer County, and that's where we are, Herkimer County. So hey,
I'm hoping that if we can get that magic person to partner up with, we can go a long ways with this. The sky's the limit, and there's nothing to stop it once it starts going.
well, it sounds interesting.
Oh, I'm glad
what
you
are,
think
What are the
so.
next steps here that we have to take?
Well, I will be speaking. I'm going to call or text Michelle right now and hopefully get a meeting with her before I head. This is kind of like my last weekend here, and then I'm going to do some fun stuff on Finger Lakes and up at Casanova at the Fernwood Farm. So I'm trying to mix up a little fun with my volunteer.
No, this is supposed to be your life here. You're not supposed to have any fun. This is supposed to be fun.
I did all of that, Dave. Been there, done that. I'm getting up there. I go,
Getting up there.
Yeah, it's true. It's time to balance in one's life, work and play and all that stuff.
Well, you think this is one of the things you take on when you're getting
when
up
you're
there?
bored and you've been in COVID and you wanted something to do, you will search high and low for whatever that is.
Well,
this was it.
Yeah, I'm glad you came up with the idea. I like it. I think
Thanks.
the businesses here will like it. And
Yeah.
all we need to do is
You
get.
like the visor with the symbol on there?
We get visors.
Well, I'm telling you, this is where the money comes in, right here in the merchandising.
I don't know. That looks a little feminine for me. I'm not a visor person.
Well,
You know?
okay. I guess that went over really well.
Well, no, okay. I can't see
Don't
myself.
you
in
like
that.
the colors? I mean, it's
Yeah,
blue
yeah.
and yellow.
Reminds
It's
me
good
of the Blue
symbol.
Angels, but okay.
Oh, please.
You knew where you were
You're
going to get
killing
that,
me
right?
here,
You're killing me, Smalls.
God.
Yeah. But no, it's fun. I wish you luck with
Thank
this.
you.
And
Thank you for doing this,
Oh,
because
you're
I'm
welcome.
hoping that there's that magical person out there as well who might see this podcast and say,
hey,
I want to do this.
or
I'm
or
there.
I want to be part of it. How do
Exactly.
how do you want people to get hold of you if they're interested in more
think
information?
I think I'd like them to contact you, and then
Okay.
you tell me, because
Okay.
I'm
I'll
running around too.
I'll forward their information. So
That'd be perfect.
people can email news@mylittlefalls.com, and we'll get Lynn's information to you about this program. So I think it's pretty cool.
I'm hoping people out there paying attention to this. It's really going to be for all y'all's benefit. So
All y'all.
and I'm not even from Texas.
That's
you
all
are.
y'all. Yeah, that's not all y'all. That's the plural of y'all. You used
You
that.
like
That was
that?
excellent.
You like that, huh?
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
All right, everybody. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Small Town Life. And we'll be with you again here probably in a week. Talk to you later.
Thanks, everybody.